The Rise of Skywalker and its teaser trailer left a lot of people very excited about the future of the Star Wars sequel trilogy and where things are going by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, and exactly what he's going to do with the character of Luke Skywalker in this movie. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about this film that leaves a lot of people puzzled is exactly what is Luke Skywalker actually talking about in the Episode 9 teaser trailer when he says, "We've passed on all we know, and of course, 1,000 generations live in you now." A lot of people are still trying to figure out exactly who he's really talking to. Is it Rey? Is it Kylo Ren? We're certainly not quite sure specifically just yet, but it most likely is Rey. Now, these past couple of weeks ago, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it all comes down to one of the set leaks. This is where things begin to get very intriguing. So this all has to do with the sequence involving both Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley. Now, it's described that during the month of January, that actor Mark Hamill shot a sequence over in Cardington with Daisy Ridley, where the set was described to be massive with tons of high green screens and sand poured onto the ground, with hard foam sets to emulate canyons in the background. Mark Hamill was said to have an emotional scene with Daisy Ridley as Luke Skywalker, where it's said that the Lars homestead was used in the background. The set piece was created from scratch of the iconic home of Luke Skywalker, suggesting the return of Tatooine. Additionally, it's described that Mark was actually instructed to shoot a scene holding the iconic family lightsaber in his two hands, and was instructed to act in a way that would make him appear to be teary-eyed. It's implied that Luke here is a Force ghost, however that is still unclear. Specific lighting techniques were used also to emulate the binary sunset in the background, and its light hitting both Rey and Luke on set. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this and as to why this just feels right. Now, number one, we do know that Tatooine really is a major part of the Skywalker saga. Tatooine is such an iconic planet. It all really started with Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, chronologically speaking. Actually, in order of when the films came out, of course, it really started with Star Wars A New Hope. So, I love the planet Tatooine because of how much history there is behind it. Not just with the Skywalkers, but a whole lot more. But yes, it really is all about the Skywalkers, right? When you think about Tatooine, you think about Luke, Anakin, Shmi Skywalker, Qui-Gon Jinn, all the adventures to where all the characters from the prequels and the originals went to, right? Obi-Wan Kenobi and his solitude on Tatooine. This planet is huge in the Skywalker saga, so Mark Hamill actually instructed to appear to be teary-eyed for a sequence in which he was holding the family lightsaber that once belonged to his father and himself, and having an emotional moment between himself and Daisy Ridley. It seems as though that Mark Hamill really poured his heart and soul into this scene that's going to make it very iconic. Now, one other thing that I do want to go over is that Tatooine is, of course, going to be used most likely in the third act of this film. We do know that J.J. Abrams has a lot of plans for the ending of the Star Wars film. Just as we went over in our last video, we know that Daisy Ridley confirmed that there were a lot of rewrites to the ending of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, and though there were many rewrites and a lot of shifts here and there, it all essentially stayed the same. So one other aspect that I do want to go over is how the Lars homestead was recreated for this sequence. So the Lars homestead, we have seen this thing ranging from Star Wars A New Hope all the way over into the prequel trilogy era. A very iconic piece, a very iconic set piece even, within of course the Star Wars Skywalker saga. So you can already see how George Lucas and his involvement in Episode 9, it seems to have paid off, right? It seems like it all carried over correctly here for J.J. Abrams, and that it was the right decision to really consult with George Lucas and sit down with him and discuss all these different ideas, and how J.J. Abrams today confirmed that he is going to honor a lot of George Lucas and his ideas for The Rise of Skywalker. And I think that's another reason as to why fans should really be excited about this movie, is because, well, a lot of George Lucas and his ideas are really kind of just transferring on over into The Rise of Skywalker, and I cannot wait to see, what George Lucas thinks about the movie once it drops this December of 2019. So the last piece that I do want to go over is how Mark Hamill was described to act as if he was appearing to be teary-eyed in front of Daisy Ridley as Rey, and that this takes place where we have both Mark and Daisy acting in front of a binary sunset. So the iconic binary sunset is a thing that we have seen in A New Hope. We've seen it at the very end of Revenge of the Sith, and we've even seen it at the very end of The Last Jedi on the planet of Ahch-To. So let me know what you guys think about this whole entire sequence involving Mark Hamill. It seems like a very emotional scene that's really going to capture Star Wars and really capture a lot of fans' hearts and really create a lot of fans to shed some tears at the very end of the Skywalker saga. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night